Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be, this just won't go anywhere. I got an email here from a guy who was dating a woman, and at some point she ended the relationship, but they continued hanging out and hooking up and having sex together. And so the problem he's having is that he backs off, and then she gets back in touch with him, and they start spending time together and hooking up. And then a few weeks go by, or a few days, whatever, and then she's cold and basically kicks him to the curb. And on top of that, they've had a problem, I guess, mostly from the get-go, that they argue a lot. So they argue, and they have great make-up sex. And then they argue and fight again, and then they have make-up sex. And at this point, obviously, things aren't going too well, and he's tired because he wants to get back together. He loves this girl, but she's not doing what he wants, and so he wants my advice on what I think he should do. And this brings to mind a story of when I was married. Deep down, my heart was not into the relationship, even though I loved my girlfriend, who eventually became my first wife at the time. Deep down, I was not. I was just young, and I was dumb, and I didn't know any better. I was in my mid-20s, and I certainly didn't come from an environment that had a good household or a good role model to model a good, healthy relationship. There wasn't any good, healthy relationship in any side of my family that I could emulate and try to be more like in my own life. And so I was just stumbling through it, didn't know what the hell I was doing, and so there were times where I was arguing. And I remember there was a period of time where my girlfriend was accusing me of sleeping with other women, of hooking up with other women behind her back. If she felt that I came over too late or I didn't return her calls in the time that she expected, she just assumed that I was out fucking around on her because she'd had other boyfriends that had cheated on her in the past, and plus just the environment that she was raised in. She had a very verbally abusive father who was always constantly putting her down, and so she felt very insecure of herself, and so her actions were constantly trying to seek where she stood with me. And so part of it, she could tell that I wasn't completely there. I wasn't completely present. She didn't completely have my heart. And how I dealt with it, I just told her, I said, and I was faithful to her. I never once cheated on her or even attempted to cheat on her. And it really pissed me off that she was constantly accusing me. And it just got to a point where I was like, you need to cut this crap out. It's like, I don't want to hear about it anymore. If you think I'm cheating on you, that's your fucking problem. I'm not. I'm being faithful, and I don't want to hear about it anymore. It's your crap. You need to deal with it. And from that point on, she never brought it up again. But this guy's situation is a little different, but the same problem is that for whatever reason, she's accusing him of being unfaithful, and that's what's led to their fights, or she didn't trust him was the big thing. And so he says, Corey, thanks for all your advice, and I'm going to buy your book today. He says, here's the situation. I was with this lady for 3.5 years. Our relationship was full of sex and fight. And I would say men who understand women, they don't fight or argue with them because they know better. They know that they need to communicate in a mature and adult manner like I talk about in my book. The fights were about her not trusting me. And I would say more than likely you probably weren't completely, fully present in the relationship. Maybe you didn't know what to do. Maybe you weren't properly courting her. That's a big mistake a lot of guys make, especially when they've been in a relationship for a long period of time, is they get in the relationship and then they stop doing all of the things that made the relationship successful to start with. And so that's something that you should definitely consider. But if she doesn't feel that you're completely there, or especially if you tell her you're going to do certain things and then you don't do it, like you're telling her things and then you go back on your word, that causes any woman to doubt your masculine core. It's going to cause her to not feel very safe and comfortable with you, especially when it comes to being in a relationship, because she's just not going to feel that you're totally present and that when you say you're going to do things that you'll actually do it. And for a woman, especially if she's going to trust you and let you be the provider or the sole breadwinner of the household, and she doesn't trust that you're going to do the things you say you're going to take care of, and that you don't have ambition and drive, you don't seem like you're going for things in life, she's going to become very uncomfortable and she's going to become bitchy. So he says, I'm totally into this woman and took great offense to her thinking I was not true to her. We eventually moved in together, but the fights won out, and she moved out 3 months later. And I would say you definitely don't understand why. If you're arguing with her and you're having these kind of fights, it's like you have no idea where she's coming from. She's upset, she's hurt with you, and you're more than likely probably using logic and reason to try to argue and win your argument and why there's nothing wrong or why you're being faithful or whatever. But there's something that's incongruent in your actions and in your words. You're not communicating to her that you mean what you say. Maybe you're telling her little white lies. I don't know what's really going on. I can only go off what you tell me here. He says, since then she's been manipulating the crap out of me, and I keep letting it happen. She had me over 4 times for sex and to tell me that she loves me. Finally, she said, no more, leave me alone, I've moved on. And I would say it sounds like that once she contacts you and you start spending some time together, that you start chasing and you start acting needy and clingy, and then when she pulls away even more, then you start acting irrationally or getting upset with her, which is going to cause her to pull away even more because it's your own weakness. Because a man who's comfortable with himself has the attitude that is, if his woman leaves him for another guy or just says, that's it, you're a jackass and I'm done with you, he has the peace of mind and comes from a place that, you know, I want you, I want to be with you, but if you don't want to be with me, then hey, it's your loss. Give me a call if it doesn't work out. And he'll let her walk away. Because women have to know that if they push you too far, that if you let them walk all over you and you keep letting them do it, they have to know that you'll walk and never look back. Just like when I stood up to my ex-wife, I just said, I'm not going to put up with this crap anymore. I'm done with it. Don't bring it up again. And she stopped because she knew that it was really her own issue that was causing the problem. But had I just sat there and taken it, like a lot of men do, when their woman becomes abusive, then you're enabling her behavior, enabling her to continue mistreating you in an unloving way. He says, 2 weeks later, I get this bullshit email to go pick up some stuff. And usually when a woman does something like that, she's trying to see, when she hasn't heard from you, she's thinking, you don't care? It's not that big a deal that we broke up? You seemed to care a few weeks ago, now you don't? And sometimes they'll do those kinds of things. That's why they leave things over at your place, so they have a reason. They say they're calling about their stuff, but when in reality they kind of left that stuff there to see how you still feel about them. Because a lot of times in breakups, it's like both people are trying to walk away from the relationship and act as if they care less than the other person does. And it's like whoever cares less wins. But it's just a completely, if you love the person and you walk away, like when my relationships and with my girlfriends, I'm still friends with a lot of them that I've dated over the past 10 years. Because it's like, just because the intimate relationship ends and you're no longer with each other exclusively doesn't mean you have to fucking hate each other. I mean, if there was so much love and connection there, why does that have to just dissolve and go away? Why can't there just be an appreciation and a love for one another, but also a recognition that just your values are not aligned and you're not going in the same direction with each other? He says, I got some help when she moved out, and I changed some things in my life, and I'm now better than ever. And I would say, awesome, good job. And she seems to be the same. And I would say, keep in mind, people don't change. They can become a better version of themselves, but if you're expecting your girlfriend to be different than she is, or to overnight become a good communicator when maybe she sucks, you either have to make up for that, or you have to go find a woman who is a good communicator to start out with. He says, the thing is, I truly love this woman. If there's still a chance, I don't want to give up. I will not contact her as I did the last time and figure a message will come from her at some point. I'm guessing I should just state what I want and she can take it or leave it. I mean, at this point, that's all you can do. I mean, she's told you to leave her alone. She's moved on. So when a woman says that, it's like, great, move on then. Move on with your own life. Read my book, start applying it so you start meeting and dating the kind of women you've always wanted, and so you can practice your skills, because when you practice your skills on interacting with lots of different women, then the quality of the women that you're able to attract improves, because you improve, because you become a better man. And so if you find this message of value, you can show your appreciation by going down to the Wibbia toolbar at the bottom of your screen and click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information in this video. At the very least, please share this page with all your friends and family by clicking any one of the social network sharing buttons, which are also located in the Wibbia toolbar at the bottom of your screen. And if you have a question that you want to ask me, or there's a topic you want me to cover in a future video newsletter, click the Contact Me tab on the left-hand side of your screen and send me 1 to 2 paragraphs maximum detailing your questions, your situation, or your challenges. And just give me several days to get back to you with a response, because I get a lot of email from the internet, and I also get a lot of it from my paying phone coaching customers. But be patient, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And if you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. And you can do that by clicking the Products tab at the top of your screen and just follow the instructions. I will talk to you soon.